Hi, welcome back to another video. So the internet is pretty much convinced that my cats want to murder my snakes. One of the questions I see asked most on Reddit on snake subs is, I have cats, can I have a snake? And there's a certain amount of people who instantly say, no, you can't. It's too stressful for the snakes, it's too worrying, the cats will kill the snakes. Well, I have 20 plus snakes, 5 cats, 2 lizards, 2 humans, and an uncountable amount of fish. And we all live pretty well. So today we're going to bust some of those myths and we're going to look at the safe, practical measures that you can take that will allow everyone in your home to be happy. Hello? Are you joining me? Yeah, I can control you with the snakes, but you're not going near my coffee. Good girl. So let's make a start. Let's look at the real risks involved and safe strategies that you can use to have a safe, harmonious, multi-pet home. This isn't just about trusting your cat or hoping that your cat's going to be well behaved or they've done it for so many years, nothing bad will happen, they're bonded. This is about being smarter than your cat, which with some of our cats is quite achievable. Alright, before we get started, let's give those Reddit commenters a little bit of credit. The fear comes from a simple truth. Cats are predators, and a small reptile looks a lot like prey. It also doesn't help that a lot of cat toys are shaped like little snakes, little lizards. You see them in pet shops. Doesn't help the cause. You can't train, love, or wish that instinct away from a cat. You can't stop them wanting to attack, play, eat, torture your reptile. A fast-moving snake or a twitchy lizard can trigger that cat's prey response in an instant, and you're only a moment away from a result that is absolutely devastating. So people see those cute little viral images of cats and snakes or lizards cuddling and thinking that it's okay, they're best friends. That's survivorship bias. And is any injury to your snake worth it? In my mind, no cute photo is worth it. So there are two massive dangers here. The first one is really obvious, that a cat could injure or kill your reptile. And speaking of physical attack, it's absolutely possible with some species of snake that they could see your cat as a meal. It's a predator-prey relationship that in captivity or the wild flips depending on who's the biggest. While the second danger is one that everyone forgets about, bacteria. Cats' mouths and claws are swimming in nasty bacteria that can absolutely have devastating effects with just one little scratch or bite to your reptile. And that's why on cleaning day, I keep the reptile room door closed. It's not just a scratch or a bite to your reptile that's the danger. Say they nibble on a plastic plant, that bacteria can absolutely be transferred, and that's a real and present danger. And there are some videos online that absolutely make my blood boil. Even an accidental scratch or bite can have devastating consequences for your reptile. Unlike in cartoons, dogs and cats can get along amazingly, but the goal with your reptiles and cats is never friendship. The goal is safe coexistence, and that can be achieved with some standard safety measures. So let's have a look at my 4 rules for safe coexistence. So my first rule is secure enclosures, and for me that means I don't get the luxury of glass tanks with a mesh lid and external heat because I couldn't do it. It's not just a case of the cat maybe sitting on the mesh, denting it, falling in. It's also a case that the external heat would be knocked off, and I quite like my house and I don't particularly want it burnt down. So my tanks all have to be wood and PVC. They are stacked one on top of the other in each stack so that the cats cannot start fiddling with wires around the back. The tanks that are in the main part of the house instead of the reptile room have their thermostats and any external equipment tucked away behind cupboard doors so that the cats cannot get to them. And they are secured with locks to make sure that the cats cannot get in. It does make me sad about the glass enclosures, but I couldn't take that risk. Inside the reptile room, I keep my substrate, my boxes, my equipment and everything on top, so the cats cannot actually get on top of the top tank in each stack. Just one little safety measure that I find really helpful so that the cats can't start fiddling with things. I even have 2 big tanks in the main part of the house outside of the reptile room for a female false water cobra and a red-tailed boa. Again, those tanks are secured, and on top of those tanks is what the cats see as a nice warm shelf. While we're on this topic, one other thing that I see constantly if I'm browsing through photos is vents on the wrong way round. So if you take a look inside this tank, you will see that the vents are put on so the snake cannot possibly push the vent out. but I see them when people are selling snakes or selling tanks, and the vents are backwards, so all it takes is a curious snake to pop that vent out, and there's nothing to stop it falling. Which is the other reason that my tanks are all pushed against walls, so that the cats cannot do the same. So my front doors are sealed, but I also make sure that my vents are in properly and safely and inaccessible to the cats, so that escape routes are zero. Rule number 2 is where I get controversial. For anyone who owns reptiles and would worry about a cat, this is going to sound strange. For anyone who owns cats, you're going to get it. There is nothing in the world any cat I have ever owned seems to hate more than a closed door. Whether that's the bedroom, the bathroom, they want to be in. I found my good intentions died when I would keep the reptile room door closed. All it did was make for 5 very curious, very angry cats who would constantly stand outside and be frustrated. I opened that door up because I also work in there during the day. I've got one cat who comes across as strangely maternal over the reptiles, but I actually think she just enjoys watching the bug show when it's lizard feeding time. For her, I think it's like watching the Great British Bake Off. But this only works because every single tank is 100% secure. However, that door is closed when it matters, so I touched on making sure that the cats chew nothing or touch anything that belongs to the reptiles. On cleaning day, that door gets closed, which creates a nice temporary safe zone for the reptiles to make sure that they can either run or move around the floor, and that I can put down their hides, rocks, branches, etc. without having to worry about any bacteria transfer. Rule number 3, interaction. Now, there's no denying it's happened in this video. I have cats, I have reptiles. They interact to an extent. They don't touch, they don't cuddle, they're not friends. They watch each other, they observe each other, but that's as far as it goes. Yes, my snakes and my reptiles will be in the same room together. That is me keeping my wits about me, instinct, and 20/20 vision. And yes, that is true. Me and my other half went for eye tests last year, and I was told my vision was perfect, which was quite upsetting because I actually think I look pretty hot in glasses. That vision, with fast reflexes after years of keeping carpet pythons from babies and avoiding bites, means that I can react. It means that I've always got my eye on it. I've always got my eye on the situation. I can see that cat tail coming round the door. I can see a little ear poking round, and I make sure that I'm on it. I make sure that I'm able to get the reptile out of danger if needed. A cat's prey drive is pure instinct. You can have the laziest, most adorable, most trustworthy, most gentle cat imaginable, but sometimes, occasionally, that flicking tongue is just that little bit too much for that cat's curiosity and prey drive to ignore, and they will react. And I'm not moaning about what people do or how they look after their animals. I mean, I'm here making a video about how to keep my snakes safe in a house full of cats. However, there are so many viral videos out there of reptiles and cats. Please don't fall for them without putting some safety measures in place. It's just not worth it. For every one of those videos is an untold story of an injured or dead reptile. And I love my guys. I'm never going to let anything hurt them. They don't need to be buddies. They don't need to be friends. They just need to be safe. And safe very often means separate. Rule number 4 is to know your animals and know your limits. You have to know when to admit defeat. So one snake I wasn't able to keep, beautiful albino little hognose, Jez. He now lives with Morgan because he wasn't happy here. He wasn't eating. The house is too busy. The house is too chaotic. He wasn't eating. He was a little bit stressed, and he's in a much calmer part of our channel now with Morgan, and he's very safe, very happy, thriving, growing, eating. But as you can see, my other snakes are fine. And that's because I handle them regularly, multiple times a week, probably more than others would recommend. But they're used to my presence, they're used to the cat's presence. The cats have lost all interest in the snakes because they are so used to seeing them. Yes, when I'm handling them, they get a little bit more curious. And yes, as I said, their prey drive is still there and it's still strong. However, 99% of the time, they couldn't give a damn unless they hear the treat tin rattling. Now, I know not everyone's in a position where they can do this, but we have got a reptile room, and we have also got a secure catio in the garden for the cats. So that means in the summer, I get to enjoy some outdoor time with the snakes, while the cats are secure in the catio. So everyone gets to enjoy a bit of summer sun. Oh, Raphaelos. So yeah, I have Fort Knox security on my tanks. I keep an eye on things and I make sure that the animals are controlled and supervised when they are out. and make sure that the cats are well away or at a safe distance where I can control the situation. So next time you see that question come up on Reddit or any social media or even in real life, and someone tells you that your family has cats so you can't possibly have a snake or a reptile, think it through for yourself, do some research, ask yourself some fundamental questions. Can you control the situation? Can you manage the situation? Do you have the space? Do you have the setup? Do you have the right type of room? Do you have the funds to actually make this work? Can you keep everyone safe? Not just your snakes, not just your cats, not just your dogs, but your family as well. Can you keep everyone safe? I mentioned external heating. It's a real present danger with a cat. So if you've got a heat dome on top of your tank and a cat comes walking along and knocks it off, have you thought that through? Is it secured? Can cats get to anything? Not all cats are scared of tinfoil, believe me, so the tinfoil trick does not work in this house, which is why I keep the top of my tanks covered in clutter so the cats are not able to get up there. There's more clutter in there than a ball python tank. And the two big tanks for the two big girls in here, the cats just treat it as a bed and don't care less, and they can't actually properly get to the front of the tank. The cats were actually more interested before those tanks. We had a 6-foot fish tank and the cats were more interested in that. So what's my conclusion and what do I think you should do? Well, firstly, I think you should like and subscribe because it would do this very new, very small channel the world of good, and we would really, really appreciate it. So likes and subscribes, that would be amazing. Thank you. So is Reddit right? Will your cat kill your snake? If you're careless, yes. The potential for disaster is absolutely real, and it's usually pushed by people who confuse risk with impossibility. If you're just after the next viral video and you're desperate to see a bearded dragon cuddling a cat, you're increasing your risk, and it's certainly not something that I would do. Living with cats and snakes isn't about hoping for the best, it's about preparing for the worst, and respecting both of their natural instincts and prey drives enough to create a harmonious and safe environment. With Fort Knox enclosures, knowing your own limits, and thinking things through, it's completely possible to have a safe world away from tragedy for all of your animals. Don't let fear-mongering stop you. Let it make you smarter. Let it make you a better keeper. Let it make you more responsible. Let it work for you. And I know a ton of you are in the same boat. How'd you manage it? How'd you do? Let us know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. I'm not above and beyond taking advice. 30 years of snake keeping, cats and dogs all of my life. I'm not above knowing that I'm not perfect. There are things I can improve, things we should always all be improving everything we do. Let us know. Do you have a dedicated reptile room? Do you make sure that they have no contact? Thoughts and advice, always appreciated. Until next week, thank you very much. Brilliant. And I'll see you soon.
Hello. If you want to see more of these snakes and the rest of the snakes in the reptile room, give us a like, give us a subscribe, and I'll see you soon.